What I found is just despite all the pessimism, I know you were talking earlier about the so-called death of retail, but actually what I found over this past fall, just sort of reporting out the story, is more optimism than ever in the industry, especially from a lot of young retailers and even a lot of the big box stores. I spent a lot of time at Target headquarters with their CEO out there, and they're more optimistic than ever. And so we're going to see how that plays out as Amazon keeps going into their backyard.
There's this sidebar in your piece, what's called the 5 stages of Amazon grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Go through it with us.
Sure. I mean, each one of those stages just demonstrates just how people are reacting to Amazon. And I saw that firsthand. I know we plucked those from a lot of earnings calls with analysts and shareholders, but I actually heard that whenever I talked to some of these big box retailers during my reporting, you get this sense of, yeah, there is this phase of denial, phase of anger, and so forth. And they're just sort of coming to grips with the fact that Amazon is here to stay, and it's actually disrupting a lot of these businesses.
What about the product companies? There's been a big debate about whether you even want to be on Amazon, whether they're going to protect your intellectual property, whether your brand is ultimately going to get ripped off.
I would say you have to be on Amazon. I mean, that's where shoppers are gravitating toward. You can't just pretend it doesn't exist. You have to be on there selling your product. There might be some complications there if other third parties are selling it in a way you don't want to, and you might have to relinquish some of the control of the experience that you might have traditionally had if you owned your own website.
But the relationship with the customer, and now I'm thinking, by the way, of some new brands. Warby Parker is one. They have a direct-to-consumer brand. I'm thinking of Allbirds sneaker. I mean, there's a lot of brands that have actually, by the way, they're all on a different version of Amazon, which is they're all using AWS, the cloud computing element of this, to do their retail. Right. Isn't that?
Yep, that's totally correct. And we spent a lot of time with Warby Parker, the co-CEOs, Neil and Dave, as well. And I do think you're seeing that trend, and you saw Jill talk about it earlier from the Mall of America's perspective, which is digital native brands moving to physical retail, moving offline. And that, Allbirds has recently opened up their first store. They're going to be opening up more. We had Stitch Fix, which is opening up stores, Rent the Runway. You're going to see that trend coming a lot more. And those retailers, they perfected their e-commerce experience, so can they combine that with physical retail as well? You're going to see that a lot more in the years ahead.
And Austin, when you're thinking about physical retail and Amazon, what's your take? Is Amazon going to be buying more physical retailers? Who's next?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the biggest surprise to me is that people weren't so scared of Amazon buying Whole Foods. They saw it as a huge validation that physical retail isn't going away. I think what's going to be an interesting test in the years ahead is to sort of measure the distance between every Whole Foods and every Walmart, because I think you're going to see this big competition playing out between Amazon and between Walmart in the years ahead, and what customers they go after, what demographics they go after, what neighborhoods. We're trying to figure out what Amazon's going to do with that Kohl's deal, how much of a footprint that might give them, especially if they buy that store one day down the road. So it's just going to be a matter of who has those fulfillment centers, what advantages they can get from those physical footprints as well.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.